then that's 2011. So now 2012 comes, and around this time, somebody introduced me to the Kabbalion, and got into that. And then I thought that I was around this time I was getting to the magic. And I don't have any of my magic books because I'm not going to expose nobody to that. And so, but when I was studying that, I thought I thought I had arrived. And so I was at this meeting, and the elder told me, like, man, that's low vibrational stuff. You dealing with elemental spirits. You gotta learn how to tap in to your higher inner being. And so he told me that I was basically doing garbage, and that I needed to learn to tap into my inner being. And so that and then he told me read The Science of Breath. So I found out then that you can go on Google and type in the names of books, space PDF, and you can get a lot of books for free. So I started with The Science of Breath, read this joint, learned how to breathe and tap in, and life change. And so I said, man, what else did this dude write? And so these were back in 1905. So then I got his other book, 14 Lessons of the Hindu Yogi Philosophy. And then after that, I began interested in yoga, which is definitely way more than stretching. Okay, you got the Ganani yoga, and then you have the Raha yoga. Okay, and then you got the Hatha yoga, which a little tiny fragment of we know of that stretching stuff. And then you got the Practical Water Cure. And then you got a whole lot of other PDFs that I started reading, because after a while I stopped printing them out and I just kept reading them on my phone. And so I read all type of stuff in 2012. 2013 come along. 2013 come this round when I read The Wandering Taoist, which might have been a book I got from Doc back in the day, but I probably didn't read it till 2013. And that was like, whoa. Oh yeah, and I read the autobiography of a yogi around the same time. I don't know where I put that book. Maybe it was on my phone, but I read the autobiography of a yogi, and that's deep, man. That introduced. If you ain't read that, that'll teach you. You'll think it's fiction, but it's somebody's autobiography. It's crazy. And so I got into the secret power of tantric breathing, and then got some back into Manly P. Hall, the anatomy of the occult anatomy of man, Melchizedek, and the mystery of all that. And then I went on a trip and found the Occult Christ by Ted Andrews, and this is even to this day is one of the truest things that I've been able, to discover about Christ. This Rosicrucian, the way they view Christ, is deep, man. It's powerful. And so then I got into the framework for understanding poverty, so I began to understand people more and understand people. And then I discovered Ivy League education. And in the Ivy League schools, it's not the same as the lower universities that had their own slants and agenda. At the Ivy League level, they just want the truth. And they want to progress the truth and know the truth and all of that stuff. And so I saw a book in the Oxford Profiles about ancient Romans. I've been hearing all this stuff about Romans and what they did. So I was like, okay, well, let me see about the Romans for myself. But I was surprised because as I was looking for that book, I saw that they had the Oxford Profiles for the ancient Greeks too. I was like, okay, well, I keep hearing that the Greeks that the Romans, and they trace everything back to the Greeks. So let me find out about the Greeks for myself. But then I was really surprised because I also saw that they had the Oxford Profile ancient Egyptians. Okay, and so as I began to study the Egyptians, then the Greeks, then the Romans, I saw in the Oxford Profile for myself that the Egyptians got it started. And then the Greeks came along and tried to take what they had learned from the Egyptians and do some things with it. And then the Romans came along and tried to take what they learned from the Greeks, who learned what they learned from the Egyptians, and tried to do all that. And so now it was no longer a black thing to be talking about the Egyptians is where it all came from. Oxford will tell you this. And so now, that changed the game. And so that was 2013, 2014 comes along. And I read the Healing Wisdom of Africa by Malidoma Some, which I learned about in my rites of passage 2008. Never read it till 2014, about last year. But I got it and I read this so I can understand the African experience. What would life would have been like if we would have never been slaves and we would have grew up traditionally? What would life would have been like? So I read this to learn about that experience. I was so moved by his book that I had to get his other book of Water in the Spirit. And I was so moved by this that I had to get his other book, Ritual. Okay, and so later that year, I wound up getting a book from Mr. G called Shamanic journey. And then I believe around that time is when I got my book from Kwame Scruggs. And then I also got some more Manly P. Hall stuff, Words to the Wise, and then I began to also study a little shiatsu, so I could add, another dimension to my massage and relaxation game. Right, and so now 2015 came along. That's this year, and what happened was in 2015, I read some books that kind of gave me the missing pieces to the puzzle, and it kind of completed everything for me in my mind, and that's why now I feel comfortable enough to begin to share, because I get it now. Okay, it took 8 years, but I get it. Okay, so now it started when I discovered the Tree of Life meditation system. Had been looking for it back in the day, couldn't find it, discovered it here, and got that going. Then I got back into the Missionary Volume 2. I actually got all 7 of them now, just haven't read them all yet. And then you got the Taoist Yoga. Okay, got into that. Then you got into the Wahoo Ching, which is the most beautiful and powerful thing that I've ever found, and what I recommend everybody gets. Translated by Brian Walker, very important. Dr. Frost introduced me to this on CD form years ago, and I just never had got it on book form until this year. And it's nice, small, and very beautiful. And this is what I try to live in my day-to-day life. And it talks about a lot of things, including Feng Shui, which I read the 8 lessons of Feng Shui to try to be able to get that together. And then I got into the Taoist Shaman book by Mantak Chia. And I got a bunch of Mantak Chia books. Just haven't read them all cover to cover. Some of them are very big, but I do read them. And then I got the Secret Teachings of the Tao Te Ching to understand that, and that took my whole understanding of everything to the next level. And then I started getting to the I Ching, and that's what really set it off. And I got a cover for this I'm supposed to have on here, but anyway, this is the version of the I Ching by Wilhelm Baines, and I don't remember the story quite exactly. I ain't gonna tell stories now. There's stories behind all these books that we'll get into as time goes on, probably. But then I read another version of the I Ching called the Yi Jing, right? That was deep. This one I discovered the 10 Wings, in addition to the I Ching, written by Confucius. And so then I got the I Ching workbook by R.L. Wing. Carl Jung had this book created and wrote the foreword in it. And he tells a lot of things about himself that people probably don't know. And I had heard things about Carl Jung, like he really got his information from here and from there. But then I read his own foreword in this book, and he talks about where he got his information from. And it blew my mind. The ancient Chinese wisdom is deep. And then, of course, I read the Tao Te Ching, which is what everybody crazy about. Most people only know about the Tao Te Ching, and they're not hip to the Wahoo Ching. That's what I'm telling you. That's a must-have. I'm trying to find that. Most people only know about the Tao Te Ching, and they don't know about the Wahoo Ching. So if you know about the Tao and the Tao Te Ching, you need to know about the Wahoo Ching. If you think this is something, you don't even have no idea yet. Both by Lao Tzu, okay? This was Lao Tzu, what he gave to the guard. This is what Lao Tzu gave to the people in the mountains that followed him, okay? And so we'll get more into that. And then we also got into The Secret of Flower of Life, Volume 1, and The Secret of the Flower of Life, Volume 2. Okay, and then I got a couple other things I'm still reading now. I'm reading my 3 books right now. I wish I could include them in the video, but anyways, so that's where we at. That's where I got my information from. I meant to tell you, I got my 10,000 hours of research in back in 2012. After then, I quit logging my research hours. But I acquired this information, and now I'm getting ready to be sharing it with you all on YouTube. It's a lot of things. I can't tell you all that I know, but I can answer any question I know. And so I want you guys to, if you like this video, if you're into this type of information, I did all this research so you don't have to. It took me years and time, and most people don't have. And most people can't sacrifice, 8-10 hours a day to study like I have. And so I got a few videos that I'll be putting out that I think are important, must-haves for everybody to know. And please like this video, share this video, and let's get this information out so that we can help take everything to the next level. Ashe.